If you love Hainanese chicken rice, I made a Filipino version for you. Today I'm going to show you how I make air-fried lechon manok, chicken rice sinangag, sabaw ng tinola, at homemade Toyomansi. Mga kaibigan, this is my version of Filipino chicken rice.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. I love Hainanese chicken rice. And what I love about it is that the rice, the soup, and the chicken borrows flavors from each other. And it creates this majestic dish that is just so good. So today I'm going to share with you a recipe that I created inspired by this dish that you commonly find in hawker centers. Let's get started.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the aromatics for our chicken broth. So here I'm cutting about a thumb of my washed ginger, and you can peel them if you want, but we're just gonna remove it anyway. I only peel the ginger if I'm going to eat it. I also cut the roots from a bunch of green onions, and I fold it and tie it with a kitchen twine. Next, I'm smashing 2 pieces of lemongrass to extract their flavors. And then I peel off the outer layer, and then I fold it, and I also wrap it with a kitchen twine. For the chicken, I'm cutting the neck, and I start removing some of that excess skin. We're gonna extract the flavor from the skin for the rice portion later. For now, we set it aside. In a pot, place the chicken and then fill it up with 8 cups of water, or until you've barely covered the whole chicken. To this, I'm adding 3 chicken cubes, the ginger, the lemongrass, and the green onions. I cover the pot and wait for it to simmer. When it looks like this, the chicken oil and the impurities will start to float to the surface. So I grab my ladle and remove it slowly. Simmering the soup is the key to create a clear broth. So we're going to continue simmering it for an hour, and then I turn off the heat, cover the soup completely, and let it cool down. In the meantime, let's cook our rice. I'm chopping 10 pieces of garlic and I'm placing it in a bowl. In a hot pan, I'm adding the chicken skin that we reserved earlier. And the heat will start rendering the fat from the chicken skin, and it will slowly seep out of the pan. We then set it aside. We won't be using the chicken skin, so I just use it as a snack. In the same pan, I'm adding the chopped garlic and cook it until it's brown. The garlic will also start absorbing the chicken fat. To this, I'm adding 3 cups of washed rice and mix it with the garlic so that the flavors start to get to know each other. Then I transfer it to a rice cooker and I borrow 3.5 cups of the chicken broth with the ginger and lemongrass flavors.
Man, it's like a warm hug. It's really good. You can really taste the lemongrass and the ginger in the broth.
I close the lid and leave it alone.
So now the rice that we cooked with the chicken broth is cooked, and the soup has also cooled down. I placed both of them in the fridge and will continue cooking them tomorrow. Okay, so it's now the following day, and let me show you what I'll do.
I removed the chicken from the broth. At this point, it continued to absorb the flavors from the broth, as well as the ginger and the lemongrass. So, I'm smashing more lemongrass and grabbing a bunch more of the green onions. This time, we will wrap it in 1 kitchen twine, and we will use it to stuff the chicken. This will reinforce the flavors you typically find in a lechon manok. Then I pour some Knorr liquid seasoning over the skin, and I make sure I cover all of the areas and inside the chicken. Then I set it aside for now. At this point, I start reheating the soup and bring it to a simmer. I am peeling 2 chayotes and cut it in the middle. Remove the core and then I slice it into cubes. Now that the soup is simmering, I add the chayote and let it simmer for 15 minutes. When the time is up, I add in the thawed malunggay, which I got from the frozen section at Seafood City. Fresh is best, so use it if you have it. Then I give it a mix, and now you have sabaw ng tinola. For the dipping sauce, I'm making Toyomansi and I'm using 2 teaspoons of chopped garlic, and I'm dicing half of a red onion. I'm also adding 3 pieces of chopped Thai chilies. You can add more or less depending on your preference, but this is really spicy. I don't really measure this when I make it, but to this I'm also adding 2 parts of soy sauce, 1 part of Calamansi juice, and I got this from Seafood City, so if you have fresh Calamansi juice, use that. And I also add in a splash of fish sauce. Give it a mix, and now you have Toyomansi. Okay, so for the rice, I'm chopping 10 more pieces of garlic and I set it aside. For the rice, I like to break it down with my hands in a plate or a bowl so that I don't have to fight it in the wok later. I find that doing this helps me gain more traction in the wok and help you mix the ingredients better. In a wok with cool oil, I add the chopped garlic and then I turn on the heat. I do this so that the garlic will start to incorporate its flavors in the oil while it's starting to heat up. Do not leave it alone, and I continue to mix it on low to low medium heat until it's golden brown. When it looks like this, I turn off the heat and then immediately remove the fried garlic from the wok, and I pour half of the garlic infused oil in a bowl. I turn on the wok again on high heat and add in the day-old rice that we cooked with the chicken broth. Then I give it a mix. If you notice that it's a lot more dry, slowly add in some of that garlic oil. Season it with salt and add more garlic powder. Then finish it off with some fried garlic. And now you have chicken rice sinangag. And for the star of the show, I'm adding the chicken in an air fryer and I'm spraying some oil so that the skin will turn up crispy once it's cooked. I cook it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. And now you have air-fried lechon manok. I mean, just listen to this. So now it's finally time to assemble. I start with 2 pieces of air-fried lechon manok, then I add in a cup of my homemade sinangag topped with more fried garlic. I grab a bowl of my sabaw ng tinola. Then, for my sides, I have atchara and my homemade Toyomansi. And this, my friends, is my Filipino version of Hainanese chicken rice. Counter!
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I've even lost for words, guys. The air-fried lechon manok is really crispy. What I like about it is that in the soup, we already added lemongrass, so that infused into the chicken, as well as I reinforced that when I put it back into the air fryer. And there's really so much lemongrass, which is really what you want. The sinangag is also really good. It's also really good even just with garlic and rice. But the added chicken flavor from the chicken stock as well as it being refrigerated overnight, also added just like that extra oomph, because the day-old rice really makes a really good sinangag. And you guys, the broth is really good by itself. It's a clear broth, which is awesome. But the malunggay and the chayote really added that extra oomph in this dish. This is really how I would recreate a Hainanese chicken rice and make it Filipino. Let me know what you think. And what should I do and make next? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you on the next video.
Okay.